Welcome back to another episode of Luca, Tigers, and Bronzo Mine. Today, we're not going to do Top Shot. We're not going to talk Top Shot. We are going to go on Top Shot today on Twitch, but by the time you guys listen, we'll already be done that. So we're just going to keep it traditional. We apologize and say thank you to all you guys simultaneously because some of you guys love the Top Shot content. Other guys hate the Top Shot content. But we're not owners of Top Shot. We just have to report the news. And Top Shot and NFTs are the talk of the town. So whether you're mad at yourself for getting in late or you're mad at us, I don't know what to tell you. But it seems like it's here to stay, at least for the next month or two. And with this All-Star weekend coming up, I don't know if you guys realized the NBA did what's called an activation. So they announced their Rising Stars roster in collaboration with Top Shot. That has never been done before. I think
I'm glad we're not doing a Top Shot episode.
This is an NBA All-Star Game episode.
Yes, it's true. It's true. I'm gonna mute this because all I want to do is talk about Top Shot. It's funny stuff, man.
Zion,
they did a rollout.
Zion's gonna show out in this Rising Stars game. I'm gonna tell you guys, Zion's gonna dominate. He's gonna straight up. These guys are kids compared to him. He dominates grown men, and now he's playing in the JV game. I'm excited for him just to put up a 30-5 spot and just posterize people.
So can I tell you that you are as dead wrong as can be?
I'm always dead wrong.
And can I tell you why I think you are 100% wrong that Zion is not going to show out in the Rising Stars game at all?
He's not going to play?
Yeah, he's not going to play because they're not actually playing the game. They just announced rosters. They're not actually having a game. I'm not playing the All-Star. Yeah, they announced the rosters. That was the whole thing. The whole Top Shot thing. It was a way to honor the players and honor the roster and the whole deal. And they announced the 2021 NBA Rising Stars game, but it's not being played this year due to the ongoing COVID stuff. But they decided to unveil the rosters as a way to honor the players who would have otherwise made it.
Boy, that's a good lesson out there, Luca Nation. Always read the fine print. You know, you might be buying a Luca PSA 10, but it just might be the picture if you read the fine print. That's insane. That's incredibly depressing. Why do they do that?
Well, I mean, you kind of got to feel something, I guess, because look,
I feel bamboozled.
I mean, look, for the players, right? It's not LaMelo's fault that he's playing in a year where, there's a pandemic still going on and they're not playing it. I mean, he should be able to say that he was nominated for a 2021 Rising Stars game. It's not the fault of the players that they're not going to actually have the game. You want to be announced an All-Star or a future All-Star. This is, it's the announcement. Maybe some of them even have in their contracts, that if they get on there, they get a bonus, so there's definitely, you don't want to take money away from these guys, especially the rookies. It's like the Hall of Fame nominations, right? I mean, still a nominate, even though they couldn't have an induction ceremony, right? So it's one of those things. I don't mind it, but they are playing the All-Star game, and Zion's in that, I think, right?
I believe so. But why not just have the game, and if players are scared of COVID, just put another alternative in?
Honestly,
why don't you just leave people's health to themselves as opposed to imposing health rules on others?
Well, listen, I'm not going to get into that. I mean, obviously, they had to put a bright line demarcation somewhere, I guess, because, they are doing the other things. I mean, they are having an actual game, and I'm pretty sure they're doing 3-point contest, which Steph Curry's in. I think they're doing, the other things, just the, the U.S. versus the world futures game. I don't believe that they are, they're having it, which is a shame because, that would have been cool. LaMelo Ball, Zion Williamson on the same team.
I would be very and Zion. Well, I guess I'll go into my play because Zion's looking better and better this season. He moves on the court pretty well, actually, for a big man. His breakaway dunk yesterday, he's quick, he's shifty. And my play today is kind of it's cringeworthy, but I think it's the right move.
Cringing is the best. I love cringing. Let's go. I can't wait to cringe.
What do you think the PSA 9 is, the Prism PSA 9 of Zion, go for right now?
$250.
It's actually 200. And
nice.
I think there's a lot of people on Facebook groups that actually are sitting on that would unload a lot of them for 175, 180 without fees. And that would be my play. I also think a better play, if your bankroll allows it, is PSA 9 silver. It's less than $1,000, right at $1,000. And I think if there's nothing else with this PSA price increase, we've already talked about it. PSA 9 and Star Stock are going to benefit from this. So I think it's a really interesting way to play a player that I think is kind of underrated on the card market right now in a relatively inexpensive play. So like my play is the Prism base, but the Prism Silver in a PSA 9 is worth taking a look. And it gives you a lot of options. One, I actually think the PSA 9s are going to double in price before the PSA 10 does.
Wow.
It's double, right? So like let's say you get the PSA 9 cage, just the for 175. I think that has a faster chance to get to 350 than I think the PSA 10 does from going from 600 to 1200. So I think
how come? Why?
That's just how they've been moving, dude.
Just the entry point is easier for people to get it.
The Zion PSA 10 has never been 1200, but the PSA 9 has been at 350 before. Just to put it simply, actually.
Okay.
So you need the Zion to hit a new high to double, where the PSA 9 has been at a 350, 400 clip before.
Okay.
I also think if you guys have like a masochistic side of you and you want to play around with BGS, it may crack and sub. I did that myself last year, and 6 of my PSA 9s converted to quad PSA 9s. PSA 9.5s. So that's applied, but I don't like BGS. You guys know that. I think a Zion in a hybrid grading case could actually perform really, really well too, because honestly, hybrid grading is selling really, really well. So, but the point is, I just think that the 9s have been beat down so much that there's going to be a rebound. And I think that rebound is going to be more aggressive than a PSA 10. I think a Zion PSA 10 might go 600 to 900. I think you're able to get PSA 9s cheap. And that PSA 9 that you get for 175 could turn into a $300, $325 card fairly quickly. So that's my play. It's a little bit right down the middle, kind of standard, but it's kind of like a buy the dip type of play on the 9s. And if nothing else, you have a raw card that is the most sought after card, maybe behind a Luca, that you could just crack out and sell the raw card if you prefer that route too.
Love it. I guess I'm not allowed to say I love it. I love the play. It's great. It's spectacular. So let me take a minute here. I'm going to butcher your name, right? But we have a bunch of groups, Instagram groups, and, we've done a lot of Top Shots. So we haven't showed as much love to our vintage guys. And one of the listeners in our vintage group, Adal Rafai, it's ADALRIFAI, Chunt, on the podcast Hello from the Magic Tavern. I guess go give him a follow. He's got almost 9,000 followers. Take a look at the one of our listeners. He created. We should post this, Andrew. He created what he's calling a Luca Nation bingo card. And you know what? We'll give him credit for it, but maybe we'll start printing these out and hand them out at card shows and whatnot. I wish I had one in Wayne, New Jersey, but it's basically like a bingo board of, while we're doing our episodes, follow along. I guess they follow along in the vintage group, and they say, "Oh, we got a bingo," and they say you can get a bingo in 10 minutes in every episode. And it's funny things on here, like someone says, "Let's go," or after a play, someone says, "I love it," which I literally just did. One of the guests on a guest episode said, "That's a great question," or someone says arbitrage, or there's Andrew praises Cage, or they bring up a past play. I mean, all these things. It's fun stuff. So big shout out to our vintage group. I know we've been killing you with Top Shot and all the other stuff. We love you. We'll have some vintage plays. We'll have some regular cardboard plays. And in today's episode, we're going to both give cardboard plays. I mean, not exactly vintage, but I saw this today in one of our groups. I just think it's the funniest thing in the world. So nice job. ADALRIFAI, Adal Rafai. So that was, if I butcher your name, I apologize, but that was funny, man. I get in those groups. I love the comments. I sent that around to everybody. I was like, this is amazing. So thank you. So back on task. Top Shot's crazy. This weekend is what? The NBA All-Star game, right? So everybody's in all-star mode. And it's March. So everybody's buying baseball cards too. I got 3 texts this morning from people saying, hey, you think it's too late to get my baseball rookies into Star Stock? And I, of course, right back to every one of them, it's never too late. Get them in, get them going, get them up there, because Star Stock is basically going to be daily fantasy for baseball rookies this year. It's going to be, gay trade your baseball stuff. So get your baseball stuff in there. I'm sending baseball stuff in myself to Star Stock. Hope I get a few A's. I sent something in my last time. I got a bunch of A's, which is pretty cool. Some Ohtani stuff and whatnot. But I see that's flying. I see a lot of talk of Ohtani today. And I'm looking for what kind of plays should I make, what kind of plays. And I'm like, under the radar, I'm hearing a lot of great stuff here in New York about how Clint Frazier is going to be the starting left fielder in that Yankee lineup. And I think I might have talked about him, as a deep sleeper kind of play. And I look up his card, his update PSA 10. And I'm like, $50-$60. Like, really? For Clint Frazier? And I look up Ohtani, and that stuff's flying. I look up Gleyber Torres, and that stuff's flying. And Acuna, I look up all these baseball guys, and Yordan Alvarez we talked about, they're all flying. So you know what I said to myself? I said, everybody's in Top Shot. Everybody's up buying their basketball stuff for All-Star Weekend. People are burning up the baseball prospects. My play today is go buy football, because nobody is. And if nobody's looking at it, today is the day to go buy your football cards, because you should be looking at football when everybody else is worried about what's going on All-Star Weekend, and while everybody's getting ready for baseball season. We say buy in the off season, and then they'll, you can sell it before football. Go ahead and buy football. Pick whoever you want. It's all cheaper than it was when football season ends. I have a play for you today. You might not love it, but the overall play is find who you like in football. And now for the next couple of weeks, when everybody's focused on basketball turning back up and basketball heading towards the playoffs and baseball starting, this is a play you can make over the next month, because basketball is going to start to get hot. We're going to make our run towards the playoffs. Baseball will start the first couple of weeks of April. Everybody's going to be all into baseball, and basketball will be heating up. From now until then, you should be buying football, right? So you like DK Metcalf? Go and buy some Prism PSA 10 DK Metcalf's at a bargain where he was. He had a great interview about how he's mindful of what he needs to do, to become one of the greats of all time, the numbers, the stats that he has to put up himself. I love reading about that, because that's somebody I want to invest in. It's like a company worried about their earnings and making sure that they're taking care of your money. I love that stuff. You know what? We've talked about this. Ian brought a bunch of cards to the show in New Jersey, and one of the cards, he loves this guy. One of the cards he brought was an orange PSA 9. I thought he traded it away, but he wound up keeping it because he likes the guy. And right in your backyard, sir, the Philadelphia Eagles running back. They're going to have a new look team. I think they're going to be better coached. I think they're better run. I think that they have a little turnaround. And they had a Pro Bowl running back named Miles Sanders, who I think is a talent. I think he's a very good player. And what'd you say?
Penn State guy.
Yep, Penn State guy. So I looked up his Prism PSA 10, and they're in the $40 range. Base Prism PSA 10, which, by the way, now can you even get a card graded for $40 anymore? So this is right for a bunch of reasons, guys. And it doesn't have to be Miles Sanders. Just one I picked because I know Ian happens to like him, and I think he's got a good game. I think he's underappreciated. And I think it's a nice quick flip for you guys, probably when the season starts, and sell it to an Eagle fan for double what you're buying for now. And if he happens to rip off a couple of good games in the beginning of the season, forget it. You might triple your money. This is it's a play for a bunch of reasons. I mean, not the least of which is what just happened with PSA, right? And Miles Sanders is just one play. There are a bunch of guys out there like this, and we want you to start thinking about this, but people are going to be spending $20, $30, $40, $50, $100 to grade cards now. I would think that the Miles Sanders Prism Pop is probably not going to go up that much, because it falls in that window of cards you might not want to spend the money on and get back as a 9, because it becomes a losing proposition, which means the Pop is not going to be inflated much more than it would have. Whereas this is a card that fell on the border of you can throw it into a bulk sub, and if it comes back a 9, you're still doing okay. Hey, we did it ourselves with that orange, obviously not a base, but same sort of story. But this is more of than a Miles Sanders play. That's a great play. You can get that card, no problem. Buy a silver if you want, if you like the guy enough, buy a couple of the base. But it's other players. It's Jonathan Taylor, if you like the Colts, running backs. It's the wide receivers we talked about last year. It's quarterbacks who might not have had the year you thought they were going to have last year. Heck, if Kyler Murray's your guy, you can buy Kyler Murray now significantly cheaper than it was than he was a couple weeks ago. His took a little bit of a jump in the last week or so with the J.J. Watt news because the odds on them, making a deep playoff run went up with that signing. So, I might not be buying him per se, but Russell Wilson's cards, I mean, you name it. You can go run the gamut on this. I'm looking at more of the more recent last 2 or 3 years, Prism rookies, talented guys who are going to make waves in fantasy. Your all pros, Miles Sanders, fell into that category. And you can find some real bargains. Like I said, DK Metcalf was one that came to mind as well. And that's it. That's what I'm going to be looking at over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to start buying football cards because everybody else is going to be looking at the shiny object of basketball and baseball starting up. You buy football now and you're ahead of the curve. Don't say I love it.
You play by Cage. What do you think about your Harry Potter play?
Am I allowed to talk about my Harry Potter play?
I mean, I just submitted, Mbappe stickers. I got them for like 20, 30, $40 each. I subbed them, got 4 10s, 4 9s, and an 8. And I made like $4,000 off a $200 investment. And I asked you, I'm like, well, you think I should showboat more? Like, blah, blah. I do. I'm not a showboater. That's not my style. My style is more like educating.
Well, do it in an Andrew way. Do it in your way. Do it in your own way. Don't flex the big bicep like I do. Do it in your own way, the educational way.
Well, what's wrong with Andrew is I remember my losses like it's I always remember my losses. I sweep my wins under the rug. But no, it was like, for example, I subbed Zion stickers simultaneously, and Zion's got a 10, but they only sold for $200 each. They just ended on auction. I was furious this morning.
Why?
Why was I furious?
Yeah, how much you pay for them?
$30 for 5.
And grading? So how much were you into them?
Probably, let's say $45 each.
And you sold it for $200, and you're mad.
I'm furious.
Right, so
that should be $1,000 card, dude. Zion there's 19 PSA 10s.
So what is the lesson you learned there? Stickers for soccer do better than stickers for basketball. It's easy.
Sometimes the market has to catch up. Like
That's true.
I should have sold 1 at a time, not 2.
I don't know. The sticker thing's interesting. I sold some basketball stickers this week also, just because I think that for whatever reason, a lot of people were grading them a couple months ago, and they're starting to come back into population. So I sold some Luka, but I only got PSA 9s on like the Italian one, European rookie stickers of Luka. And they did all right. Nothing crazy, but they did okay.
I have one Luka sticker PSA 10. See, like the Luka sticker PSA 10 is $1,000. How does that make sense?
Everybody loves Luka. And people, I don't know, maybe those stickers, especially like the European ones and whatnot, are not made in as massive population as the Zion ones were. Maybe. Everybody loves Zion, man. People are buying Zion like crazy. And it's hard to move that. It's hard to get that thing moving. It's hard to lift that boat when you have that many of them, right? It's a supply and demand thing. Even when the demand goes up, the supply is so great, it's tough to lift that price. So, yeah, Harry Potter stickers. Listen, I have to say thank you to the Card Talk pod guys, because I gave that play 3 weeks before they did, and those of you who listened bought it, and by the time you guys got it in hand and ready to flip, Card Talk pod gave it as a play. I'm sure total coincidence. It has not happened on 7 or 8 occasions since we started this podcast that they have a week after I gave the same exact play. It does not it's hypothetically speaking that happens. It does not happen. They don't even listen to our podcast. We love Lou and Ryan and Tyler. We love them. They
play ball together, Cage.
Whenever
we're on the same team, we have at least a 75% chance of winning.
You dominate in the game, right?
So I mean, few L's, but we compete hard for sure.
I'm just trying to think which one is Charmander, which one is Squirtle, and which one is Pikachu. They're like the starter deck. Those 3. You and I can be Blastoise and Charizard, because
Tyler is definitely a Charmander. Squirtle is a Lou. Ryan is Pikachu. It's got to be.
Well. Listen, somebody once told me imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. So I'll keep giving picks, guys. You can keep taking them. No worries. It's all good. Love you.
Love you, Luca Nation.